Alrighty. So I had to go live from my Warriors Talk actual show page because I think Facebook blocked me from going live page because I played that music just that fast. Like serious, Facebook.
They don't play.
You're so petty. That's okay though. It's okay.
We don't get the last word because that's what we do.
Yes.
Are we going live now?
Yes. See if I can, no viewers invited in. Share live video. Can I share? Warriors Talk is a platform to address how cancer as well as other diseases are running rampant throughout our country and how we can go away from our awareness to take action. Warriors Talk with listeners keep them informed, connected to services, and encourage them to thrive while surviving. It's not letting me invite anybody in either. Hello, you're tuning in to Talk with ReShell. I'm so excited you have chosen to tune in week after week. It is Unstoppable Monday, and it has actually been sponsored by Allstate with Paula Kelly. She is specializing in all of your insurance needs, whether it be home, renters, auto, condo, or life insurance. Contact Paula Kelly with Allstate Insurance at 708-758-3300. She's also located at 327 East Glenwood Lansing Road in Glenwood. You can email her at paulakelly@allstate.com. I want you to stay connected with me on all forms of social media. I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as Periscope. All you need to do is just type in @WarriorsTalk1. @WarriorsTalk1. You can email me show ideas at warriorstalk1@gmail.com. For all up-to-date information, go to the website at warriorstalk.org. If you ever miss a live broadcast of the show, go to Spreaker.com. That is Spreaker.com. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. All you need to do is just type in Warriors Talk with Lady ReShell, and you can follow me as I go around town getting the latest information on cancer and other diseases. We'd love to hear from you. You can always call in at 312-754-4333, and we value your opinion. This show is actually dedicated to March for Our Lives movement, where they are demanding strict gun laws. So I salute all of the young individuals who are out there lobbying for a safe future. They want to be able to grow up so that they could be able to sit in our seats and make things happen. And their lives are being cut down because of someone that's making senseless decisions with guns. And we know that these individuals are not bringing the guns in on their own. So somebody's bringing them in. So encourage the kids who are out there raising their voices. They need to be heard. Our healing verse is coming from Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Our topic for today is you are unstoppable, moving from past to purpose. And unstoppable can be defined as incapable of being defeated, impossible to stop, or even unbeatable. So joining me today, I have, and I'm really excited, I have 3 authors that are going to be joining me. They are promoting the You Are Unstoppable, Moving from Past to Purpose book launch, which is taking place on May the 15th. In studio, I have the unstoppable Coach Terrance Leftridge. He is the founder of Unstoppable Coaching Services and more. I'm sure he'll tell you about that later. And we have Maureen VictoryisMine Bobo. She is the founder of Hope for Widows. And then we have Maria Abega. She's an author as well, and she is the self-love strategist. So we have our authors in the house today, and they're going to give you their formula that they use to be unstoppable and being able to walk in their purpose so that you can do the same. So what's up, Coach T?
Hey, it's an unstoppable day, Lady ReShell. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here on Warriors Talk Radio. I love it. And you know what? Let me just say this. You are as beautiful as a person as your spirit, as it comes across our airwaves and comes across the radio each and every Monday night. So I'm just glad that we finally got a chance to get together. And I'm so pleased that you are a part of this unstoppable moving from past to purpose book project.
Yes, I'm excited. You put out a call to action. And when you put out that call to action, something in my spirit was like, that's you. And so I answered the call, and I wasn't sure even how everything was going to come to pass. But I trust myself. I trust the God that I serve, that it was going to bring him glory. So I'm glad that you put the call to action out there and that I said yes.
Well, I'm glad that you said yes, too. I'm glad that you trusted the call. And I am glad that you brought up that topic, because many times we are afraid to do anything because we don't know how it's going to work. We don't know steps A, B, and C. We don't know 1, 2, and 3. But the one thing I have learned over my life and over this journey towards being the life accountability coach and the other things we'll talk about later is that as long as you know your why, you don't have to figure out your how. The how will find you. And if it's one thing I know, you know why you're doing what you're doing. And that's why God is blessing you and blessing the warriors, the Warrior Nation, and blessing your show, and about to bless this best-selling book that we're about to put out in about 6 weeks.
Yes, I'm so excited. It seems like everything is just going so fast, and we've been on this virtual tour, getting the word out, and it really has been exciting. The people are receiving it well. They've been engaging in all of the different interviews. I'm learning stuff myself about the different authors as well. What made them decide to be a part of the project, and now once you hear the stories, you know why. Like, they deserve to be on the project. So I'm excited about us coming together and making a difference and helping individuals who are who may be stuck, who may be going through some type of chaos in their life, and they're unsure about what they want to do. And to have 6 individuals who have been through, who could have gave up, who should have gave up, but didn't. But they stuck in and they continue to push so that they can be unstoppable, and so that we can have shows like this and we can have book launches to help other individuals to be unstoppable as well.
Exactly. And you know what's the thing about it is that all it took was one. All it took was one person to come on board, and then it was just like that pebble into the river, and the ripple effect happened. It began with one, and now less than 5 months later, we're at 8 total people, because if you count myself in the book, and you also count the only other man in the book, Dan Gazzullo, and his lovely wife Tara Gazzullo, we've got 8 authors, including yourself, including Maria Vega. We got the double Maries, Maria Vega and Marie Cosgrove, and we can't forget about Maureen VictoryisMine Bobo, and we also can't forget about Stephanie St. Till, the baby of the bunch, but just as much of a powerful story as anybody else. So each and every one of you are diverse in your own individuality, but you share a common desire to want to move from that past, to not be defined by that past, but to let that past move you towards your purpose. And I'm just so humbled. I'm so pleased that you allowed me to take your story, to help pull out your story so that you could tell your story, so that we can share your story, so that your story can save somebody's life.
Awesome. So I'm just wondering, like, what was you thinking about when you decided to put out that call to action? Like, what were your thoughts behind it? And did you think people were going to just grab it really quickly?
Absolutely not. I thought about doing this book, the second volume of the You Are Unstoppable book series, actually about 3 years ago, because I wrote my first book, You Are Unstoppable, the 11 Key Attributes to Living the Unstoppable Life, back in 2014. And Lady ReShell, if I'm going to be honest with you, I had no plan on writing that book either. All that was a journal that I was writing in my thoughts. I was writing down what my hurts. I was writing down my pains. I was writing down my insecurities. I was writing down what I needed to help me get from day in to day out. And I made the mistake of letting my book coach read what I had. And he said, Terrance, you're writing that down to help yourself, but me reading it is helping me. So Terrance, if that is helping me, imagine how many other people your story could be helping. And that's what planted the very first seed to You Are Unstoppable. And as you know, once you plant a seed, it's going to grow.
It's going to grow.
The thing about that seed growing is that it grows underground. And so the seed for the second book was just continuing to grow underground. And I was just continuing to walk over the ground. I wasn't watering the ground. I wasn't tilling the ground. I was just letting it do what it needed to do. But it was a determined seed. It was an unstoppable seed. And it just kept growing inside of me. And every now and then a small voice would say, you know, it's time to do that next book. And I said, but no, I'm not ready to do that next book. I barely did the first book. No, it's time to do that next book. But how am I going to do the next book? What am I going to say? Get other people to talk for you.
Wow. Like wow.
Get other people to talk for you. But I barely was strong enough to tell my own story. How am I going to get other people to tell their story in my book? And he said, don't worry about the how. Just remember the why.
Wow.
And so I said, all right, God, you keep bringing it this way. So I got to be obedient. I got to follow what you say. I don't know how it's going to happen, but you keep bringing it to me. So there's got to be something to it. And I'm sure your listeners, if you think long and hard, think about everything that you've accomplished in your life. It probably came because it was a burning desire. Mm-hmm. It probably came because it was something that just kept itching at you. It was like a scratch, like an itch you could never scratch away. It was something that just kept coming back and coming back and coming back until you decided you just had to do it. And that's where this book came from. And as soon as I put the call out, Lady ReShell answered the call.
Yes.
Marie answered the call. Marie Square answered the call. Tara, I had already been working with her. She was doing my graphic work, and she helped me on another collaborative book that we did called The Power of Collaboration, and she just jumped right on board. And then Stephanie, and then Maureen, and now here we are on the precipice of having this great, phenomenal book with these great, phenomenal authors who have all moved from their past and walking boldly into their purpose.
Wow, that's awesome. I often wonder, you talked about the how. Do you feel like we stay at the how too long and then we end up missing what could have been something great?
I don't think that we stay at the how too long. I think we use the how as our excuse.
Mm-hmm.
We use the how as our escape hatch. We use the how as the parachute that never opens. If I don't know how, then I can't be faulted if I didn't do it because I didn't know how. Well, no. How many people have done things, incredible things, and they didn't know how? Mm. The first thing that you have to do when you don't know how is just to do something. And it's just that simple. When you came on board, you didn't know how you were going to write this book. And what did I just tell you to do?
Oh my goodness, just start writing.
I just start writing. Start writing. And I tell people that, it's a process. There's a process to everything in life. And the first thing of every process is that you've got to start. You're never going to finish anything if you never start anything. And if you never start anything, you'll never create anything. You'll never do anything. You'll never be anything. And that's far too important for this world because you were created. God created you. God started something in you so that you could finish something in somebody else. And all you got to do is start.
Yeah, I always say whatever we go through, it's not for us, it's for somebody else.
Exactly.
It's for somebody else. And you have to stick with the process. You can't abort the mission. You can't jump ship because you're never going to be able to see that light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm excited about the different authors that also answered the call. So who do we have online, Coach T?
So we've got the wonderful, phenomenal girl from Euclid, Ohio.
Euclid.
She has the AKA Victory is Mine in her name. She's phenomenal. She has a story of how she has turned loss into healing and how she is healing the masses from Ohio all the way to Ontario, from Canada down to Cozumel. She is worldwide. She is the one. She is the only. Maureen VictoryisMine Bobo.
Hello, Maureen.
Love you back.
Wow. Awesome. I know that you have an awesome journey. I've heard the journey and I don't even know how she's still standing, because just hearing everything that you have been through is so inspiring for other women. My mom, Maureen, is actually, she calls herself a grief advocate. That's one of her titles. A lot of authors on this book have a lot of different titles. We have a lot of different things that are going on.
And so do you. We're claiming it.
We do.
We're taking over.
We have a lot of things going on. So I know my mom recently went through losing my dad. And let me just say, Maureen, I don't even think she has went through the grieving process yet. She just recently cleared out the closet, and he passed away in 2016, and she was just able recently to get his stuff out of the closet. And I know it's a process, and it's a process that you shouldn't go through alone, and you don't have to go through alone. And that's where Maureen comes in. And so Maureen, tell us a little bit about you and your journey and why you decided to become a part of this You Unstoppable project. Oh, wow.
So I said to him, fine. My black kids ain't got no black father in here, so I'm crying out to the Lord. And those were my feelings from that. And so on that journey, God said, really quite early on, on ministry, which is our first problem.
I can hear it now, but can you make it a little louder? Thank you.
Grief agency, specifically for widows, but for all grievers. And let's talk I'm going too long or anything like that. Also, Lady ReShell.
No, go ahead.
But I'm good?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. And so then I collaborated with two other ladies, Lisa Ali and Chastity Williams, that we met on Facebook. There are two other widows. We wrote the Unwelcome Committee, which is the story of the navigation of our grief journey. We were all three widows with children. And so that came out in 2016. From that book, God, it's a long journey, but God gave us Hope for Widows Foundation.
Wow.
And so we co-direct that. It's another 501c agency that helps widows. We have a closed Facebook group. We have a fan page. We have Instagram. We're on Twitter. We have a monthly newsletter, painstaking new website. We we connect widows to the process of grief. And so it's peer-to-peer relations, in that the widows support each other through their path. And as sad to say, as your mom is on that, and she understands, it's a different level that people who haven't experienced this wouldn't understand. So it's good to be connected to people who understand the journey. We say healing happens because we try to help babies with their grief recovery, and it's so hard. We want to educate and advocate for grief. The world needs to be educated about grief because people really don't know the process. It's non-linear. The polarizing emotions which take people on a wave. It's turbulence. That's all I can say. Turbulence. So severe turbulence. You feel like you're going to drown. My anchor is Christ. Everybody, and so he kept me. Okay, yes. I felt like I was mentioning on the time, but he brought me through. What Fusion Chastity and I do is tell people that, yes, I'm 8 years out, that's 9 years out, he's almost 11 years out. We're here to say we've been through the storm. There is another side. We are the lighthouse. Hold on, you can make it. That's part of my Grief Widow ministry that I take part in. That's just one. I do other things, but the book, I talk about my past, prior to my husband, during my husband, after my husband. I do flashbacks of my life, of my negative merry-go-round of thoughts. Then I do flash forwards of my thoughts and visualizations that God has gotten me on the right path. And I just want to give people tools that, you know what, you have it all within you. It's in your head. It's your cognition. When I say cognitive, the cognition, I'm talking about your thinking. As a man and women thinking shows us.
So are they.
And so that's a true statement has never been said. I had to change my think pattern. And when Coach T came across me, and that was in 2010. I still had a lot of negativity and thoughts. And so, but it was coming around. It was starting to turn around. He helped me with accountability and visualization and seeing things from a different perspective. And so that's one of the things, that's one of my ministries that God has planted, because when you go to the depths of misery and grief and loss that I've been at, God has a greater purpose. It had to get to that point. It didn't start overnight. He had to put me through his processing plant, which he has, and really kind of grew it. But I realized that my purpose is to help other ladies, to help people to see that you can make it. Because they hear my story, see that I'm upright, I have my kids, I'm a solo parent, moving forward, and I just want to bless people with my story to let them know. He gave me this mountain to show others that it can be climbed.
Right.
So that's where I'm at in my life, in my purpose. So I appreciate your platform, Lady ReShell. I think you inspire me, honey. When I heard your story, I'm fine.
No, you inspired me. I'm just in awe right now. You mentioned the phrase processing plant. And when you're going through a loss, when you're grieving a loss, sometimes when people, if they have not lost anybody of significance, they don't understand, and they try to hurry you along that process because they have their own timeline when you're going through. So I'm sure you and the Hope for Widows are able to walk women through the process in their own timing.
Yes.
Grief has no time frame. Okay, people, like I said, don't understand. Because like even in our work system, you get 3 days bereavement. What if you lost a child? You lost a parent.
That's crazy.
Yes. Right.
You know, my advocacy is on, or someday we want to be on a political level and speak to Congress and things. I advocate, and I think it's Google or it's Facebook is doing this right now with employees. 30 days. 30 days people need.
Yes.
And it's days longer than that because you're not done with it. But as far as getting life together and
getting your affairs in order, getting the loved ones' affairs in order. Yeah, I understand that. And I just want to jump in and say that, when I started working with Maureen in 2013, we talk about the processing plant. The processing plant for Maureen was closed when it was talking about grief. Maureen was not ready at that time to talk about it, and it was still fresh. The wounds were still highly open, and so when she came to me for coaching, she wasn't coaching. She wasn't looking for the type of coaching for the type of work she's doing right now.
Oh wow!
Lady ReShell, she wanted me to help her become a millionaire selling tea. Now, that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation.
I'm addicted to tea, so we need to talk.
But see now how it flows. See now you can have a cup of tea talking about the healing, talking about grief, talking about being a warrior. The thing that we try to do instead of dealing with our grief, instead of talking about our grief, instead of letting our past come out, we keep the past in. We lock it up behind the door with a key and a shackle and a couple of deadbolts, and we put the dresser and everything in front of it because we don't want it out. Because we think that the past, if it's out for everyone to see, is going to define us. Instead of taking the other route, which says use that past to define you and define where you're going to go. So when I was coaching Maureen, okay, we'll do this. We'll go through the motions. We'll see where it goes. And every time we talked again, she hit another roadblock in that pursuit.
Wow.
And when she would talk about the roadblock, it always had to do with, well, I was still dealing with this, or I was still trying to do this, or I was still trying to get the kids back on track from this. Everything that was really, if you look back over it now, was still part of the past grief that they were trying to work with. But as soon as Maureen started talking about her grief, as soon, just like I started talking about my journal, somebody else heard what I had to say and they got help from what I said. As soon as Maureen started talking about her grief, her struggle, her challenge of moving forward after a loss, she started helping other people. She found out that she was no longer lost behind a rock, but she was actually a beautiful stone.
Wow.
And she created the Beautiful Stone Ministry. And then she created the Unwelcome Committee. And then she created another nonprofit. And then she created another book. And now 4 books later and 2 nonprofits later, you're talking to Maureen VictoryisMine Bobo.
Wow. That is an amazing resume. And we never know what our storms are going to take, where they're going to take us and what's going to come out of it and how we're going to help other people. So Maureen, you are helping people just globally. Your stuff is not little. You're helping people globally. And what would have happened if you had just kept all of that in?
I just don't even want to think about it, Lady ReShell, because when like Coach T said, he's exactly right. When I look back at it, I'm like, God, He brought me through for a reason.
Yes.
When you're in the middle of the storm, you don't see that. You just think you're going to drown.
Wow.
You're just trying to, you know what, I talked to the lady that I went from survival to thrival.
I like that.
Huge process. God thought, because I came across Coach T before that and after Martin passed, we were just surviving.
Yes.
Okay.
Existing.
Day by day. We're thriving. Thriving is surviving with purpose and fruit.
All right.
I like that.
Widows is that fruit, and then other things that I do, the book, my speaking career is taking off, and doing things in that, and teaching and training, and just wanted to get into coaching and things like that. I'm a social worker by trade, and I have been for over 25 years. So at Maureen's core is a helper.
Exactly.
I love people, and I'm going to help people in any way. So I believe that this purpose that has come forth for me from God, which is planting. You know how they say planting at the foundations of the earth?
Okay.
Planting helping with me at the same foundations of the earth.
I love it. I love it. And she's the perfect epitome of the conversation with God that says, God, why me? Why do I have to go through this? Why did you bring this burden into my life? Why did you take Martin away from me? Why did you leave me as a single parent with 2 girls? Why did you put me in this situation? And what we fail to recognize, or what we find out in hindsight, is that we were built for this. Maureen was built for this. God knew who he had created way before she went through this tragedy, before she went through this loss. He was already saying to her, you were built for this, but she couldn't hear it because it was cluttered in the cloud of the pain and the hurt. But as soon as she stopped and listened, she could finally hear him say, you're asking me why you, when the real question is, why not you?
Wow.
And that's the one thing that we have to understand. That's the one thing that each person who's listening under the sound of our voice right now, or who's watching us on Facebook Live, you have to understand that instead of saying, why me, you've got to recognize that God made you. And he don't make no mistakes. When he made you with all the accomplishments that you've achieved, with all the trials you would have to go through, with all the tragedies that you will have to face. But he made you knowing that you were like Ford tough. You were made for this. So instead of saying, why me, knowing that your story is going to make a difference in someone's life, you need to shout and say, why not me, God? Thank you for the opportunity.
Amen. Maureen, I appreciate your testimony and for you just being vulnerable to let others know exactly what you went through and how you are in victory right now. Can you give the listeners some words of wisdom about moving from past to purpose?
It'd be my pleasure. I just want to say that it gets so far. It gets so dark. It gets so deep, the depth of the pain that a lot of people out there experience. It may be a loss of a person. It may be a loss of hopes and dreams. It just may be a loss of positive thinking. That's a loss. I just want to say people, can look at my story. I hope they hear the stories in the Moving from Past to Purpose book, and they just think of themselves as like, well, patience. I had to go through to get to, and we talk about that a lot.
Yes.
If I hadn't gone through, that was shaping me. My shape for significance was becoming because of the circumstance. If God just doesn't do stuff, I had to get to that point where God was not just making me and my children, and I'm about to cry because I'm thinking of my children suffering without a father. And so when I get to that point, I was on my face before God, and I would say, "Why, Lord? Why? My children, my babies are suffering." And I just didn't know what to do in the midst of. But then God tell me to hold my head up because my head was down low, very low. And so he said, "No, look up. I got a plan for you."
Yes.
And he brought different people into my life.
Yes.
He brought coaches and different friends and things like that into my life to bring me and hold my hand. And he carries me. And I'm at the point now where I'm saying hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yes. Yes.
So I want people to hear this and say, yeah, you're on the mountain. The depths of your God takes the depths of your misery to catapult you into the heights of your victory. That's what you've been telling me since like 2011. And so I live by that.
Wait. We just can't let that slide right on by. You gotta say that one more time so that we can hear that.
God takes the depths of your misery to catapult you to the heights of your victory. And so some of you out there have some serious depth. Guess what? The depthness of your misery, he's taking you to catapult you to the heights of your victory. Okay, just think how deep down you are now. Wow. How miserable you've been. How much pain you've been.
Wow.
He's taking that just like a rubber band or something like that, and he's catapulted you over and beyond like an eagle over the mountains into your purpose.
Wow, that well said. Oh
Listen,
my
we're
goodness.
only going to give you credit for that one more time, and then we're just going to have to take it. Lady Rochelle's going to have it on her show. I'm going to have it on my show.
I'm gonna give
He
you
will
credit.
take the depths of your misery to catapult you to the heights of your destiny.
Yes.
Oh,
Love it.
love it. So,
Wow.
when you guys see Maureen VictoryisMine Bobo on tour, ask her to quote that. Ask her to tell that story. And she is on a mission to heal souls because she knows that healing helps. And we love you for sharing your message in the book. You are unstoppable, moving from past to purpose.
Yes, you
Thank
are.
you so much.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to see you on the 19th of May.
Right.
Oh, she's actually going to be here. She's actually going to be here the first weekend in April. So she's going to be sharing her testimony and getting her speaking on here in Chicago.
Oh, I have to come and see you.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Maureen. I appreciate you.
God bless you all.
God bless you. You're welcome. That was an awesome testimony. Angela, what are you saying? She says it's not about us at all. It's about being a broken and a yielded vessel for God.
I hear you.
Amen.
Yes,
you are so
yes.
right. We have another author on the line, and I want her to get in. She's not on there anymore. We're waiting on her to call in. Okay. She should be calling in any moment now. But I enjoyed that testimony. Sometimes you just don't know. I mean, who would have thought the death of her husband would bring her to a ministry to where she is helping people actually go through the grieving process. And we don't think about it.
Yes.
That process that you go through, a lot of people avoid it.
Yeah.
We try to avoid it. We try to push it off. We try to skip the different steps that you have to go through. And you can't skip any steps. You have to go through them in order to be healed from it. And it seems like to hear her testimony and just to hear the confidence in her voice, it gives others hope that you can get through as well.
And isn't it just unbelievable what a little bit of hope can do and where the sources of that hope can come from? As I've been coaching now for a couple of years and speaking now on different stages across the country and across the world, the one thing that always surprises me is to get that text or to get that email or to get that message on Facebook that says what you said made a difference. And it's from someone I don't even know.
Wow.
Someone that has become a Facebook friend, and I'm scrolling through trying to see when did we become friends? But that is the beauty of the world that God has created, where it is so easy for you now to share your message, just like we're doing on Warriors Talk Radio, and know that you are affecting lives across the world, lives that you know, as well as people that you may never meet, but they will be better because they heard your voice. And that's the reason, that was part of that itch that made me want to go ahead and create this second book, You Are Unstoppable, Moving from Past to Purpose.
Wow. Well, I'm excited that we are sharing our message. And so Facebook, I want you to do the same. So all three of you who are watching the video right now, share the video. I know you already liked it, but share the video so that somebody else can get this message, because somebody else is stuck right now. Somebody else is afraid. Somebody else don't have hope. Somebody else think that they cannot go on. And just hearing about the different authors' story can give them hope. And as Coach T says, you only need a little bit. You only need a little bit to keep going. We talk about being unstoppable, moving from past to purpose. When you think about being unstoppable, Coach T, what if you could say 5 things to someone about being unstoppable to get them to be unstoppable? What 5 things come to your mind?
Well, the number one thing that comes to my mind is actually taking a page from your chapter in the book. And you guys have to get the book to read more about it. But it's basically when you find a reason to live.
Yes.
You become unstoppable. See, if there is nothing to gain at the end of the rainbow, there's no reason to walk that rainbow. There's no reason to explore that rainbow. But once you figure out that there is something at the end of that rainbow, a reason to run that race, a reason to fight that fight, then you become unstoppable. Muhammad Ali would say the person that he was fighting in the ring wasn't the biggest victim, wasn't the biggest fear in his life. It was the person inside of him. It was the person that he was trying to be, the person he was trying to get to. In order to be the person that you want to be, you're going to have to go through a lot of other people that are stopping you from becoming that person. But when you have a reason to live, AKA why, then you become unstoppable. Your story is very similar in what Maureen was saying. She was looking at her children, and that became her reason to keep going forward. Your children was your reason. Even though you were dying inside, you found a reason to live, and look at you now. No one would ever know, if they did not know you or know your story, that you were a victim of cancer and that you were a cancer warrior as well. So that would be the main thing. For other things, when you're talking about being unstoppable, the definition of unstoppable is just 3 words: unstop and able. And when you look at the that's just another word for not. When you look at the stop, when you look at that stop sign, but at the end of that word is that word able. And we are able to be whatever we want to be when we put our mind to it and decide that that's who we're going to be. And when we know we are able to be, that makes us unstoppable from anything else. So I say unstoppable. I say I'm not able to be stopped. You can't stop me from sharing my story because I know my story makes a difference. You can't stop me from speaking my truth because I know my truth is a truth that I have learned through life and through other people's lives. You can't stop me from putting this message out there and asking other people to be a part of this message because I know that if I can be unstoppable, then you can be unstoppable too. We all have that ability not to be stopped if we put our mind into it.
Wow. All right. Unstoppable. At the end of that, remember, able. You are able and your God is able. So you have to utilize the tools that you have around you in order for you to be unstoppable. What do you think about, Coach T, is having like people that are already doing the great things that you're trying to do? How important is it to have somebody around you who is doing what you want to do, so you can see that this is possible, but you feel like, oh, I can't do it?
Oh, I think it's so very impossible. It's very possible. It's very necessary. I have my own live stream show called Unstoppable Stories. And the tagline is, we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. And the word ordinary is there first, because ordinary people are doing unstoppable things each and every day. It's not just the people in the movies. It's not just the people that you see on TV. It's not just the people that you read about in the big magazines. Everyday people like you and me are doing unstoppable things in our circle of influence. But too many times we want to reach out to the unreachable to get our source of strength, when the person right next to you is the person that you need, the person that God has placed in your life to help you to get to the next level. There's a popular phrase from the old days that, you can hide in plain sight. And your blessing could be hiding in plain sight, only because your sight is not looking in the right direction. A friend of mine has a book called Climbing the Wrong Mountain. And too many of us, we try to climb the mountain that we see other people climb. We see other people's level of success, and we want to put that success on us. We see other people's level of accomplishment, and we want to have that same accomplishment. So we go through the same things that they go through. And when we get to the top of the mountain, Lady ReShell, and we look over the skyline, we see the other mountain that has our name on it. And what is the worst thing that could possibly be in your life than to, after climbing the mountain, finding out you climbed the wrong mountain?
Wow.
That's why it's important to surround yourself with people who are going or who are at the level that you're trying to get to. That's why it's important for you to align yourself with people who have your best interests at heart, people who are going to support you, but people who are going to challenge you. Not the yes men, not the yes women that are going to say yes to everything you do and everything you say, but those men and women, those people, even children, who are going to tell you the TI truth and let you know that your stuff, well, I can't say the rest of that, but that are going to encourage you, push you, and motivate you to get to the place that you want to be. We call them accountability.
And I was going to say, and hold you accountable. Because a lot of times, you know, we have people in our lives, they just be like, yes, you're doing that right. Yes. And they never tell you when your stuff stinks. It just keeps pushing you along down this wrong path. And then you run into somebody who's real with you and you're like, well, how come they never told me that, you know? So having the people around you that should be around you is important. We talk about, and with cancer, the support system. The support system is so important because your support system is crucial to you surviving.
Yes.
So if you don't have the right people in your life, that goes all across the board, it could mess with you being unstoppable.
Oh, look at you. So let's use this other analogy. You know, you're warriors. This is Warriors Talk Radio. Warriors are usually tribes. Warriors are usually teams. And your team is only as strong as its weakest link. So it's incumbent upon the team to make sure that everybody on the team is pulling their own weight. Everybody on the team is pulling that support. Everybody who is on the team is doing what they need to do to help not them get ahead, but to help the team get ahead. The acronym for team is together, everyone achieves more. So you've got to align yourself with a team that's not only looking to have success for themselves, but is looking to have success for everyone in the team. If you got that team, then you are well on your way to being unstoppable.
Wow. So it reminds me of the African proverb I heard you say on the other show. If you want to go somewhere quick, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together.
Yes.
So it's important that we go together. So since we're going together on this book launch on the 19th, talk about that.
So the book launch, the You Are Unstoppable, Moving from Past to Purpose book launch and luncheon, it's on its way. It's on its way, less than 2 months away. May 19th here in Chicago on the South Side at the Ruby Brownstone's Infinity Banquet Hall, 10244 South Vincennes here in Chicago. You can go to bit.ly/past to purpose to register, get your tickets so you can have your face in the place so that you can get not only physically fed, because we're going to have a nice spread, but you can get mentally, spiritually, and emotionally fed by the likes of Lady ReShell Dotson Matheny and her wonderful stories, chapters in the book by Maureen VictoryisMine Bobo, by Stephanie Saintil, by the Marie Squares, Maria Vega and Marie Cosgrove, and by the dynamic duo that knows everything about finding love beyond the walls. None other than Tara and Dan Gazzullo out of Georgia. And I just got to say it again. I am so humbled and so blessed that we have a diverse grouping in this book. We have people that encompass 4 different states. We have 7 women and 1 man in this book. We've got Black, we've got white, we've got Hispanic, we've got people that are young, we've got people who are old, we've got people that have different ethnic backgrounds, all in this book. But the one thing they have in common, Lady ReShell, is they all have had a past. And they all are seeking a purpose. Wow.
And let me tell you, when I heard some of the stories, I'm just like, do I belong in this book?
Absolutely.
You know how when you hear your own story, you just like, okay, yeah, no, it's just, my story is nothing. And then when I was hearing the other author's story, I was like, I don't even know if I belong in this book because their stories was just so amazing. I'm telling you
Warrior
guys.
Talks Land, y'all got to let her know.
Oh,
Y'all
my
got to let her
goodness.
know that she is not just worthy. She is more than enough. You know, I said before I created my first book, nobody's going to want to hear my story because my story doesn't have any tragedy. Nobody died in my story. Nobody's dying in my story. Nobody got ran over. Nobody has a disability. I'm healthy. I got every limb is working right except for the one in the middle called the stomach. But thank God the camera's low. But there was nothing about my story that just tugs at your heartstrings. But then I said, not everybody's story has to tug at your heartstrings. You know, we as speakers, we say those who speak from the head speak to the head, but those who speak from the heart speak to the heart. Your heart may not be suffering from tragedy. Your heart may be suffering from a life of mediocrity. You may be suffering with an illness called average-itis, and you need to move to the next level of your greatness. Well, I got a story for you because I suffered that same illness, but I've been healed. I'm a survivor. I'm a warrior. I'm an unstoppable warrior. And if you want to hear my story of how I went from mediocrity into unstoppability, then you need to get this book. If you have something that is dying inside of you, it may not be the big C, it may not be the little c, it might not be any of the other letters in between. But if you have something that is dying inside of you and you need a new reason to live, then you need to listen to Lady ReShell's story. She'll give you a reason to live. If you are suffering from a loss and you are wondering why me, then I need you to listen to Marie Cosgrove's story. I need you to listen to Maria Vega's story. I need you to listen to Dan and Tara's story because they said, why me? And God said, why not? You were built for this. You were built for this. I created you. And if I am unstoppable, then you can be unstoppable too.
Wow. Ooh, okay, you guys. So, May 15th, okay? We have an early bird special
May
going
19th.
on. May 19th. 1919. We have an early bird special going on where you can get the tickets for $25. After April 1st, it's going to go to $40. You can get the VIP for $50, which includes the book. So I will be posting the information on my page. You can go to bit.ly/path-to-purpose and you can register right now. You guys, what Angela Elaine said, sorry I missed the bulk of the show. I will rewind. Blessings to you both.
Yes.
Angela Gilliam saying, yes, you do belong in the book, my sister.
Jeff Markinet
Thank
Jr.
you.
is saying, you are enough, Lady ReShell.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. You guys, this book has really, it was healing for me. It was healing for me because a lot of the stuff I hadn't even talked about.
Yes.
And as I was writing the book, then I just pulling the stuff out of me I didn't even know was in me. And just to sit back and read the manuscript, I'm just like, wow, that's my story.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable that it actually happened to me. And when I read the poem at the beginning of the book, I tear up reading that poem because that stuff actually happened. But let me tell you, God has preserved me. When I asked him to preserve me, he did just that. And I don't even have the memory of the pain that I went through. That's how good God is. And so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the book. Coach T, thank you so much for coming and co-hosting with me today.
I appreciate it. Oh, I was a co-host, Warrior Talk Radio.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And I hear a little birdie say, we're going to do this again.
We are going to do this again. Yes, we are. We are going to do this again. So, warriors, I want you to know that you too can be unstoppable, but it all starts with action. So you have to make up your mind daily. No excuses. Forget about the experiences that you have. Don't allow them to hinder your delay. Concentrate on your goals and eliminate the challenges so that you can be the unstoppable person that you were destined to be. Warriors, remember to keep thriving while surviving. Okay, we gotta go.
They always get you.
fix it up. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like and share this video. Thank you to the guys that tuned in.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Thank you guys for joining in. Share this video. Go to Lady ReShell Matheny's page and watch the replay, Warrior Talks Radio. And hey, we're going to be doing this again in April. Go to bit.ly/Pass the Purpose. Register now for the early bird special. And wherever you are in the world today, don't just make it a great day. Make it an unstoppable day. Take care.
All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I gotta go. Love you guys. Thank you.